This thing wants to blur selectively. I don't understand what's the point of using beauty blur if you want to blur selectively. Like, why you only get 80% of the spots and blemishes, not this big old zit right here? Like, why not smooth down my edges? Why not help to make it look like I don't have all naps in a row? Make a little every corn kernel to itself style naps. Help me with these beady beads. Like, come on, AI. Like, give me some swirls. Grow these edges back out. Help me, because I haven't seen the rest of my edges since Moesha went off TV. Anyway, y'all, it's your girl Erica Switzer. Just waiting on the good homie Nick Lindemann for episode 11 of Your Comedy Bestie. Hope you didn't miss last week's episode with Cam Honeyyeager, episode 10, Magic 10. We made it over the hump to double digits with the good homie Cam Honeyyeager. Cam unfortunately had a theft right after our show. Cam unfortunately experienced a loss and gratefully was able to recover his some of his goods and materials. So y'all, please send the good homie Cam Honeyegger some thoughts, prayers, and GoFundMe's. Find Cam and send the brother a cash app or something. Help him with $5. Buy him a cup of coffee. It helps. You never know. Comedians need love too. We get out here. Look, Cam's ride was taken from him, and that young brother has toured all over the Midwest. Like he told us, he spent time in LA. That ride had a lot of mileage on it. It's a lot of memories. But he got, unfortunately. And yeah, Chicago, Chicago. We rough like that, but come on, man. Like, that's still not right. Like, nobody does things and expects to not have those things there. Nobody, what I'm saying? Like, when you have a car parked out front after a long, hard day of work, you expect in that morning, after you wake up and you get ready to go on to work the next day, that car is there. When you wake up that next morning and that car is not there, it is a mother lover. So, peace and blessings to the homie Cam Honeyyeager. May anything you lost come back to you 10 and 20 fold, my brother, because you're a good dude out here making folks laugh. And, I'm always with you. I'm always here for you. Let's see what's going on in my world. Again, yeah, I'm waiting on. Oh, he said, is there a link? Yes, Nick. Please click the StreamYard duck. In this conversation, because StreamYard is quick and easy to use, y'all. Matter of fact, if you want to use StreamYard for podcasting, conferences, meetings, StreamYard's free for you to use to trial startup. And you can get a little bit of a discount off on your homegirl. Just check the description here on my YouTube channel. In the meanwhile, I am waiting on the homie Nick Lindemann. Yeah, click the StreamYard duck, my guy. In the meanwhile, I'll go ahead and give you a catch up. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to my bro, Just Jeff, the great comedian Jeffrey Hall. And this is an It Ain't My Fault shirt with his great It Ain't My Fault comedy show. The very next It Ain't My Fault comedy show is coming up this Saturday, July 5th, at the Bit Theater in Aurora, Illinois. The beautiful Bit Theater used to be the Comedy Shrine, but now under new ownership, they do plays, improv, and have a dedicated stand-up comedy space. Y'all, this is a gorgeous space that sits over 100 audience members, features a 3-camera setup, has a whole audio video control center in the back. It is a production dream. It is a comedian's dream. And it is a great place for people to come and enjoy some good stand-up comedy. Our last show, we had the great Zoe Dodson, co-producer of The Pop Out, and tearing it up at Zany. Zoe has been killing it. We had the great Andre Lavelle, who came through from LA. Andre was born and raised in Chicago, but has been killing it out in the LA scene for almost 30 years, killing it out back and forth between Chicago and LA. And so we're very proud to be presenting the great Luis Arevalo, who you might remember from episode number 6 of Your Comedy Bestie, and Marnie Adams. You might know her as Marnie P, but she Marnie A now, or Marnie Nicole. Just know her as Marnie with a cute little self with a little fiery, feisty, spicy, funny butt. We're going to have a great time, me and Just Jeff, Luis, Marnie, this Saturday, July 5th. Also, it is Miss Lisa's birthday. It is the wonderful Miss Lisa's birthday. Yes, that is Jeffrey's mom. And if you have come to our shows out here out west in the western suburbs, you might be familiar with her. Come celebrate with Miss Lisa. Come celebrate with me and Jeff and the whole family. It's going to be a lot of fun. Get your tickets at the BIT box office. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Good time. Y'all, this past Saturday was the premiere of Joke Sister Chicago. My big comedy sis, Joanna Briley, the founder and director of the Black Women in Comedy Laugh Festival, almost 30-year vet of stand-up, just about, had the Joke Sisters brand and has been doing shows in New York City for quite a while. Just did Joke Sisters DMV over the spring with homies like Patrice DeVoe. Man, Patrice is amazing. Patrice is the one sister I know that fearlessly solo travels the world and just got done hitting up a lot of Europe, a lot of Amsterdam, a little bit of London. And also the great Gwen Factor Robinson. Y'all, Gwen was such a fun battle buddy at this year's Black Women in Comedy Laugh Fest Rap Battle. And I know Joke Sisters DMV did not disappoint. We brought the heavy hitters out for Joke Sisters Chicago, y'all. Along with me and Joanna, we were headlined by Janelle Jackson. Again, born and raised in Chicago, Janelle has been doing stand-up. She started when she was 19. She's been doing stand-up over 30 years. She don't look a day over 35. What a cute self. She was up there telling her raw truth and getting it in. And by the time she had just started getting good, we had to stop because we had already gone over time. And there was a 7 o'clock show. We also had Sherry Flanders pop in and do a guest spot. Sherry is a writer for the Sun Times and writes articles for the Reader. Sherry did a nice little bit about all the different Sherry songs and how people have sung them to her over the years. Then we also had 2 powerhouses of the Chicago comedy scene. And I'm not going to have anybody say anything otherwise. When I say powerhouses, I mean powerhouses. And they are Lisa Laird and Arlita Hall. And y'all, when I tell you, these heifers went up there and threw down, okay? Because that's what we're supposed to do. Joke Sisters is about us getting off them jokes, right? Being jokey sisters. So Lisa went up there and did her jokes. My mom was like, Lisa did her thing. I know Lisa did her thing. And then also Arlita Hall. Arlita's been on the main stage at Second City for the past few weeks. She went up there snapping. And then little old me, I did my thing. But what was different about it this time is that I just went up there and had no anxiety, no fear, and everything just flowed. Let's say I put my jokes together in combos I didn't know I could put them in. And everything just flowed and everybody laughed. And it was almost like having a game on autopilot. For those of y'all who might be my age or a little bit older, it was like having a game genie. Doing that to your cart, slapping that game genie on, typing in that little code, and having about 99 lives and infinite ammo. Joke Sister Chicago, y'all. That was the first run. That was the premiere, and it's definitely not the last. Please watch this space. Stay tuned on all my social media, and I will keep you posted on Joke Sisters. And now we have the guy, the one and only, co-producer of Big Break Comedy at the Holiday Club in Chicago. My battle buddy from Roast Battle Chicago a couple of years ago. Please welcome to the stage the one and only Nick Lindemann. Oh, hold on, Nick. What's going on? Can't unmute your guest. Their mic isn't connected. And what? StreamYard. That's that was rude, StreamYard. And coincidentally, as all this was going on, my hairstylist texted and came up in the corner. I can get your hair done in the morning. Girl, I don't know if I have enough bags. We gonna have to go first thing in the morning and go get the bags of hair then. Um it dropped the thing out and then it said device is not connected. And they will need to connect their mic slash cam before you can add them to the stream. So Nick, if you can hear me, I'm gonna need you to restart, maybe restart your browser, and then try to access the link again. Hopefully that'll alleviate it. Maybe if you do that, it'll ask Chrome or whatever if you want to run or give it your computer permissions to connect the audio and video and stuff. So fingers crossed that we can get that together. For viewers here, while you viewers are here, let me catch you up on what's been going on. Again, Joke Sister Chicago was the stuff, and I cannot wait for the next edition. On the way out, people were telling us left and right the show was so good. The show was so good. The energy from top to bottom was so good. The show was amazing. The ladies did their thing. Everybody was doing their jokes. Everybody was hitting. It was an amazing time, an amazing kind of energy. And I can tell y'all, when I went to the first Black Women in Comedy Laugh Fest that I went to in 2022, I knew there was something special about a gathering of women anyway. I knew this in doing all ladies shows in Shanghai, especially having all ladies of various backgrounds. White lady from the UK, white lady from here, Asian ladies from China, obviously, Asian ladies that had grown up in Canada, and here, like all kinds of different, just that female energy is different, right? And so I knew the joining of sisters was going to be a very different kind of energy. And it was a very different kind of energy. There was a warmth in there that's, I tell you, there was a kind of warmth that you feel after you have a mouthful of collard greens with smoked turkey wings, well seasoned, just the right amount of salt and pepper in it. And that's it. No hot sauce, no extras. Just that warmth you get when you get that pot liquor and the greens just velvety on your tongue and the meatiness. I apologize, my mouth is watering and it is almost dinner time. But that's how it felt, like soul food. It felt like soul food, y'all. All right, so StreamYard indicators have a full mic next to Nick with no slash. I will attempt to add Mr. Lindemann to the stage.
All right.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I had technical difficulties. I did not have the permission for this app. I apologize. I should have checked it beforehand. That's a rookie move on my part. It happens.
No problem. That's what I said. Maybe he needed to just restart his browser. That's okay. I appreciate you coming. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing great. How are you enjoying the week? How have you been handling the heat?
My weave has not been handling this heat. Now my hair wants to just get away from me. It is hot. I'm trying to keep it under 74 and under in here as best as I can. Otherwise, I hot flash for no good reason.
It does happen. I've been working outside. I'm in the middle of moving. I'm mostly into my new place, but I've been doing it like one box at a time. So it takes a month and is awful the whole time rather than just biting the bullet and taking a day off work. So that's what I've been.
One box at a time.
Yep. Maybe like 3 boxes at a time, but it's just a pain. I just stop and get a few things and then come on over. So they're being very patient in my old apartment. So it's nice.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. And sometimes you got to move things brick by brick, right?
I have purged a ton of stuff, which is actually very refreshing. It's like, nope, haven't moved it here, haven't used it here, not moving it to the new place. I've just thrown out like a dozen trash bags full of stuff. It's like I don't need this anymore.
That's good. It allows you to get your Marie Kondo on. I mean, but Marie Condom, how about that?
Marie Kondo, that's a good maybe marketing crossover. That would be funny. I don't know how well those would sell, but that would be it would be like a joke gift. The Murray condom.
If it doesn't give you pleasure, throw it out. I don't know. But anyway, what's new? What's new with you, Nick? How's Big Break going?
It's really great. We're at about 150 total shows. We've been going for about 3.5 years. We just finished up Pride Month. We had a crossover show with Late Night Sapphics. It's a sketch comedy group, and then the karaoke party. I also had a little bit of technical difficulties during the karaoke party, but I kept it to a minimum. Everyone had a really good time. I am not a good singer, but I make up for it with enthusiasm. So it's it's a good time.
That always helps. Um, how else would J Lo have made it this far?
It's true. Auto tunes is a wonderful thing.
Aside from having a great backside, I mean, that vibrato ain't shit. But I would imagine you have some more skill than J Lo has.
Well, I'm not as good a dancer. I'll give you that. I don't know. I like to fancy that I have a nice butt for a 45-year-old man, but not for a pop star. I think she got me beat in at least that one metric. So,
Well, speaking of which, I think that's a perfect segue to get into you being probably one of the most physically fit comedians I know and have met. So, can you talk a little bit about your fitness journey, or like?
like the tallest dwarf, like that's everything too. Yeah, I like to stay fit. You mentioned that I put on a couple pounds of summer weight, but no, I like to run. I like to do yoga. I do obstacle races. That's the most notable thing that the put out. Usually like a Tough Mudder or something like that. It's basically adult obstacle courses. You go there and you run. You do monkey bars, you crawl under some barbed wire, like you jump over a little thing that's on fire, and then they give you a couple finisher beers at the end, and you take a photo for the apps, and so that's fun. Everyone tells you you're crazy. I've asked every comedian I know that says they work out, and I've so far only found one taker that's willing to run them for me. So it's hard to find someone willing to do it with me.
Okay, so in a moment of transparency, I wanted to do the Tough Mother, and I almost signed up for it because the gym I go to was big on it and was going to have a whole bus of us go on up to Rockford that morning and come on back down and come party. Unfortunately, I could not sign up for it because I had to go to Janesville and open up for Kristen Toomey that night.
You probably made the right choice. That's fine. I mean, you could have gone first and then just gone straight to Janesville. You're Rockford. You're halfway to Janesville. Like,
That's what I thought. But then part of me was like, if I shoot my wad ducking and dodging over objects for an hour in the morning, am I gonna have? Do I need to go get a hotel in Janesville to be ready for this show? Like I was thinking like that.
You probably wouldn't want to take a nap in the car and then try to go on stage. You might be a little creaky and stiff when you get up. Like the first couple times you do it, you do feel like you were in a car crash the following day. It's like I don't know if you've ever been in a fight as an adult. Like it's similar to that. Like you don't feel good the next day. So, but it's a lot of fun doing it, and apparently it's what I'm known for. So I'm gonna keep doing it. I got one coming up in August. I got one at the end of August. So I like doing extra wrinkle by dressing like an idiot. My one friend that did it, I made her dress up like the '80s wrestling tag team, the Hart Foundation, and so that was a lot of fun. And so this year we might do Batman villains. So I might dress up as the Riddler and run the one this year.
That sounds super cool. Well, I forget, was it last year you were showing me the leggings you guys were looking at because they were really cool as superhero leggings and stuff.
I I do like to run in leggings. I did that for the wrestling one, and it was amazing. And I only ever run it in like basketball shorts before, and running in leggings is amazing. So now I run. I have more leggings than you would guess just by looking at me or talking to me. But
He's sitting down, y'all. This man is about 6'3".
mhm,
He has a lot of leggings, a lot of legs for leggings, okay? And good, nice legs for leggings, shall I say.
so,
I'm a sucker for dudes' legs. I'm sorry.
I-
Men, men with good shaped legs, there's something. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That flex of that calf. That that's gastrus soleus, whatever they call it. He made it look sexy. cuts and striations. Bless you, child. Thank you. I appreciate it. Look, cougar, naughty hour. I'll remember that for later on. Nick, where can you tell me a little bit about how you got started in stand up?
Um, I just it was one of those things. Uh, I started a little bit in my 20s. I did it for about 6 months. I was just like, hey, you could just do that. Like I could just go to an open mic. Then I kind of got away from it for a while. I kind of traveled around. I used to do a job where I moved more, so I wasn't in Chicago for about 9 years, and I did it a couple places here or there. But most places don't have as many opportunities as Chicago does. So if you live in Columbus, they've got an okay scene, but not they don't have 10 mics or shows every night like they do here. So when I moved back, I made it a point to start doing it again, and I was really into it. And then COVID happened, and then during COVID, I did like 400 open mics in 6 months, and then when everything opened back up, been doing it since then. So it was just kind of a goof when I kind of started doing it, and now it's just just one of those things. It's one of the I don't want to say addiction, not because I don't think that's accurate, just I don't want to admit it. So
There's a lot of addictive properties when it comes to it, I would say.
they are.
Um,
Save
I,
if you save the addictive stuff till after the show, but
it's it's better if you save the addictive stuff for the show, though. You know, the
yeah,
things that keep drawing you to that
yeah,
stage. Like I was just thinking about it earlier randomly because these are things that comedians think about. I was just thinking about the show I had in Hobart, Indiana, doing stand up Chicago style stand up, or I forget the exact name of Susanna Rodriguez's show. And just thinking there's 250 people there excited to see us, and all these jokes that I've done for years that these people haven't seen are in here murdering. And I'm like, that's a pretty delicious feeling.
yeah.
I get what Caligula was on, like, not that I'm trying to have sapphic exploits or anything after the show or during, but I just had that rock star feeling. Um, what is it for you, if you don't mind me asking? That's that addictive thing that keeps drawing you to it.
It's mostly that feeling. There's nothing like it when you go up there and you can if you're honest with yourself, you can tell when you're having a good set. When you're really cooking, you can tell because you can feel it. And you just say a joke that you wrote and you're proud of and you think was real clever, and you go and it pops, and the audience thinks it was real clever too. There's just nothing. I imagine singing or other performing arts are like that. Would you would get a similar high like that? But just like the pop from the audience, is just there's just nothing like it. Um,
And what's different from, say ballet or even jazz, being a musician, there's the payoff of having rehearsed so much, practiced so much, and dedicated yourself to the craft, and your performance, and every line you're going to hit, every note you're going to play. And then you get the audience response at the end, unless you're paying attention and, like they're giving you signs and they're vibing out, or it's kind of hard to get the read on the ballet performance. But it's still the performance thing. It's still the art of, here I am. Here's this thing I want to give to you. Now, what are you going to give back to me?
yeah,
Right. Um, Only slightly different between the disciplines, but it's all still the same, right? As far as like the performer themselves.
I can do too. I do stories, so I do longer form sets. So one, you have to commit to it because it's a long time between laugh breaks and stuff. But so you get a little bit more. You have to pay attention to if they're into it or not, and that. But also then you got to write fewer jokes, which is also nice. So it's the it's all a delicate tapestry what the audience digs.
Absolutely. So, given your, where you've been, where you've gone, what are some of your favorite venues to perform in?
I like doing zanies. I like comedy bars. Fun. Smaller ones, bar shows. They can be fun. They're not. I mean, you'd always rather do an actual proper club and that, but it's more just the audience. I'd rather have a really good audience that's and I'd rather kill than bomb. But as far as the venues, it's more like the audience. Obviously, um, with Zanies and Rosemont is really nice. Some of the ones too. Um, I don't know. They don't. I never really thought of it like that. They don't say that. I more think about audiences. Ones too. When I did the Roundhouse, the Christmas show, that was a really fun show. The audience was really into it that night. Really vibing.
We
So
have some really cool crowds at the Roundhouse, and just in case you're new to your comedy bestie or new to me and you don't know that much about me, I co-produce, or I'm kind of at the last days of my co-producing, Still Not Friday, at Two Brothers Roundhouse in Aurora, and we have a free show, Still Not Friday, on Thursday nights. Sometimes we do specials like around Christmas. We do the 12 comics of Christmas, who happen to be a mix of comedians we think you should watch out for and old favorites. And Nick was my choice for the last Christmas. Um, so I'm glad we had a very nice audience for you.
it's a lot of fun.
And I apologize because I think I was booked that night at a different venue. And then you mentioned Zany's Rosemont, which is one of the prettiest clubs that I've been to. So what was it about the audiences you were saying? Where do you prefer the audiences at?
Not that I prefer the audiences one venue over the other. It's just I um, sometimes bar shows can be really grim, but every once in a while you get a really good audience where they're just there and they're locked in for whatever reason. Sometimes it's a smaller audience, but that can be a lot of fun too when you can actually see everyone's face in the room, you know, things like that. I mean, obviously you want a bigger crowd; it's more fun, but sometimes the smaller crowds can really be fun nights as well.
Absolutely. And bar shows can be hit or miss, like you said. It can either be a whole bunch of folks sitting there watching the big screens, drinking their brews, chatting out with their buddies, just there to talk. And it's like, hey, did you know live comedy was happening tonight? No, get off the stage. It could be that kind of thing. Or it could be a whole bunch of people just rapt attention, just like hanging on to your every word. And it could be a lot of fun. So bar shows are a personal favorite of mine because I love cutting loose at a bar show and getting a little rowdier, probably saying some stuff I wouldn't say at a club show. Um, just being a little bit freer with my speech. What about some of the not so fun places to play for various reasons?
Um, well, there was the one show where a guy in the audience didn't like getting heckled and he flashed a gun, so that was a little unnerving. He left shortly thereafter, but that just stuff like that. It's mostly just when there's three people there. I did a show once where the only actual audience members that weren't comedians were my friend and my girlfriend. So I brought the only two audience members with me, and so that was kind of grim. It wasn't fun, and so all the other comedians knew that they had come with me, and so they had no one else to talk to. So all the crowd work was just them. Like that girlfriend never came to another show.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because every comedian was like, "Hey, so which one of y'all's fucking Nick?" I'm like, "Well, the night now, asshole. Like, thanks a lot." I think I can curse on the show or not. I'm assuming I
Yes,
can.
you can.
Fine.
Freedom of speech.
Uh,
How long did your relationship last after that?
a couple more months. It wasn't because of that. It petered out for other reasons, as they often do. But she never came to another show. She wasn't super big on comedy in general.
I understand that. And some people aren't. This last one I was with for way too long wasn't. And he just, it was different. It was more like he knew he was funnier than everybody he talked to or something. He was like, I don't understand you guys or something like that. But he could also,
Wasn't a comedian though, but still thought he was funnier than everyone.
he has very comedian, he could say some off the wall shit
Yeah.
and be very funny in spots. But it was also like nobody could be better than him at stuff.
Hmm.
It's like I couldn't come home and have had a good show. or I've had way too many good shows for him to be okay with. So then I had to feel the wrath of that afterward.
Hmm. That's,
It's like imagine when you come home from a good show, say you had a great set, and then your adrenaline's all over the place, and you're not trying to disrupt them or whatever they got going on. You just want to play some Call of Duty and go to sleep until the adrenaline wears off. And then that person starts talking to you, and then you are kind of like one word or two word answers with them just because you're focused on the game. They
yeah,
didn't want to hear about your show and your good night because there's been a pattern to this,
yeah.
right?
Wow, that was that's it. All right. For any guys out there, free dating advice. If your lady comes home and she's excited about something she did, you're excited about it too. Even if you're not, pretend. The night will go much better. Like, that's great, baby. Tell me all about it. And then pretend to listen. Like, even if you got, don't pretend. It's better if you don't pretend. But if you got to pretend, pretending's better than not caring, like, in the long run.
Pretending is not only better than not caring, but it's also better than shouting, pulling the PlayStation 5 out of the wall, taking it down to the garage, and then coming back upstairs like you're somebody's fucking dad. That's worse.
I got to imagine, yeah, pretending leads to having sex way more often than breaking the Xbox does.
The only sex that was had was
Yeah.
between him and whatever
Yeah.
hand he was using and whatever he was looking at on P Hub afterwards. Anywho, yeah, it sucks to have bad partners. Sometimes more than bad audience, they're the worst audience members.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, okay.
It sucks. It sucks. Okay, so can you tell the audience, for those of us who are maybe not familiar with you and your comedy, tell us a little bit about your style, about some of the topics you cover?
I do a lot of dating stuff. I do stories. I've got no shortage of relationship disasters, but I do have other stories with stuff. I like to do, like hot takes, dating advice, things like that. I've got a couple non sequitur ones like that, but that's pretty much just conversational and like relationship material and things like that. Working working on a story bit now about a bar fight. I used to work at a bar 1,000 years ago, and one night there was a fight with a frat bro guy with the puka shell necklace wanted to make friends with a couple of Hell's Angels, and the Hell's Angels were actually the good guys in the story. They were being very respectful. They were tipping well. They were minding their own business. They were being nice to the waitress. And this guy wanted to walk through the line of bikes, and that's just kind of poor form. If you see motorcycles parked somewhere, you don't walk through the line of them. You walk around them, and he was told fairly politely by the Hells Angels flunky that was out there watching the bikes, hey, don't do that. And he thought this was an opportunity to make a new friend. And the Hells Angels flunky did not want to make a new friend. And so mayhem ensued and the cops came. But by that time, that guy had gone. And so nothing happened. And it was a whole big thing. He, for some reason, thought I was going to step in and save them. I was like, no, my job is making sure 19-year-olds don't get in the bar. Like, I'm not helping idiots that pick fights with Hell's Angels on the main thoroughfare in the public space outside the bar. Like, that's not my job at all. Like there's a payphone right there if you want to call the cops. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
That's real bad form.
the cops were not interested. They didn't call the guy a pussy right to his face, but they definitely called him a pussy when they got back in the squad car.
Deservedly so. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Like, you let the Hell's Angels and the Chicago Police Department be the good guys in this story. Like, man, you just misfired all around today. Like, it was a bad. Just go home and start again tomorrow.
Get some help. Call a helpline immediately.
Yeah,
Seek help. Um, Going along with that, because that sounds like a bad heckler story from hell. You
yeah.
mentioned the thing about somebody pulling a gun. Was that recently?
No, that was about a year and a half ago. It was like
Okay.
it wasn't the main show. It was like afterwards. We ended up at some other bar, and we were just talking. It's like, hey, don't do nothing to me. And there's a little bit of back and forth, and he didn't like pull it out and wave it around. He just had it in his belt and stuff. And so it's like, all right, like that was. I think that was a little early and uncalled for. Like, it's not like he said anything about your mom or anything, but I guess he just didn't have a sense of humor at all. So Then we're like, all right, well, check please. We're getting the fuck out of here. Oh,
See, that's one of the biggest nightmares I had about when I had the itch to start an open mic.
mhm.
I had visions of crap like that happening. Because in Shanghai, when I ran one, the most you get is like a creepy old dude from Indiana who would make jokes about where he possibly buried his ex wife.
They
And
don't.
we just sit in the crowd like, he did this shit. Like, that's some of the worst. Or we had one dude who was so straight up sociopathic that he would talk about wanting to flay his upstairs neighbors and wear their skin as code.
Yeah, see, that's just a real high degree of difficulty. It's like you think, like, hey, I've got 3 minutes. I definitely want to hit murdering my girlfriend and then kitty porn. Like, I think I can land this plane and make it enjoyable for the 9 strangers that are in this room. And it's just like, hey, like, how about like you got stuck in traffic or like you're even I don't like the apps is better than that. Like it always, and it's usually guys that always think I'm gonna like, why is the world so rough on me? Like, why can't I get a date? Like, line. It's like, I mean, the rest of us could do 5 minutes on why you don't want a date, but you're kind of in a bad place already. I don't think that would help your mental state at all. But like, try again.
People go to open mics instead of going to therapy, and that's really wrong and screwed up. Normies need to I'm sorry, there isn't a lot of normies out here. So-called normies and people that really need freaking help, stop going to open mics and terrorizing people who are actually working on the craft. Unless you come into that mother lover with some notebooks crammed full of notes from Judy Carter's Comedy Bible or one of Greg Dean's books or Jerry Corley's books, don't come in here terrorizing people with your threats to off yourself or somebody else. That's horrible. Comedy, yeah, is tragedy plus time and all that good stuff, but don't go on stage just being a damn tragedy or having a tragedy in your backpack waiting to happen. What the hell's wrong with humanity? I'm sorry, Nick.
So that's fine. I wholeheartedly agree. Like, yeah, it's like you obviously didn't say that to anyone else. I mean, maybe no one listens to them at any other point in their life, and that's the only 5 minutes where they can they can say that they can speak their mind. It's like, ugh, like maybe there's a reason that no one wants to listen to you anywhere else.
We have a lot of really lonely people in the world. We also have a very lot of crazy, confused people in the world. Keep the craze and confusion away from a mic. Unless it has been seriously thought out, well crafted, and could double as a manifesto for the Unabomber, keep your shit off of open mics.
Yeah, open mics. So
This is coming from a woman who would like to be comfortable in going to open mics instead of feeling like these are just C4 detonating sausage parties waiting to explode.
yeah, it's some of them are better than others. The one I run, Holiday Mike Thursdays, Holiday Club, Holiday Mike. It's usually there's less of that. There's never going to be none of that. But we try to put female and LGBT comics up to the front of the list, and then try to not foster a manifesto sort of mic. So
And on behalf of women and the rainbow, I thank you. Yeah, because it's horrific to hear you mention the thing about somebody with a gun. I know there was somebody who was at Shakers. I think that was a couple of weeks ago. Or Aaron Chase and Aaron Leroy said that there was this creepy guy and there was the pictures of him and he had the cops encountered.
yeah,
And
yeah, I do that. I I was at a bar with Aaron Chase. It was a bar show at a bar. The bar is not even open anymore. And he gave the light. There was other people there watching other stuff, doing their own thing, and it was the lightest like crowd work at all. Like didn't say anything to. And the guy got mad and did the worm. Like his like thing. Like my manhood has been challenged. So like my response to this like threat is I'm gonna do the worm in an aggressive fashion. And he's just thought like, yeah, take that. And I'm just like, that was amazing. Like now every comic is going to talk about you because you just did the worm for no fucking reason in the middle of the bar. And the next five comics were like, "Hey, what's with that guy doing the worm?" And then he came like, and then his other friend got offended on his behalf, and then it was a whole thing, and they had to come over and puff their chests out, and it's just like, man, I really don't want there to be a fist fight at this bar right now, like, but wouldn't mind like picking this guy up and throwing him, like, it was one of those. They cooler heads prevailed, and it was fine, and everyone hugged it out, and there wasn't any other commotion. But it was just like that's your go-to. Like he's done that before. Like that's his move. Like when he's threatened, he just does the worm. And I mean, I suppose there wasn't a fight, like, but he did not get less heckling.
What
So
was he supposed to do? Like warm up his core before he gets beat down? Like what the
yeah, I don't know. Like
Nick, have you ever done a worm before a tough mother?
I've never done the worm before a Tough Mudder. No, I try to conserve as much energy as possible. Like I don't.
Because I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand, but maybe there's some things are better left ununderstood. Is this somebody who gets booked for shows?
No, this was just a random like bar person. This wasn't a comedian. This wasn't anything. This was just a guy that was in there, and it's just like I don't know what you're thinking. And then he was mad about it. He was young. He was in his early 20s, and so I don't even know where. Like you shouldn't even know what the worm is. Like you're
Well,
too young to remember when that was a thing on wrestling. Like you were 4 when that happened. Like so maybe you just maybe you're an old Scotty Too Hottie fan. That
right.
these first moments. It's '99. Yeah, it would have been.
He was like finally. Now he's trying to be all grown and big and mad, doing a worm. What man does? You ever seen like National Geographic stuff like before two gorillas made over like want to mate a chick like they about to fight? Like which gorilla has ever done the fucking worm?
Although that would be amazing. If we ever had that one, that would replace Shark Week. If we just had just gorillas doing the worm, like I would pay for cable again to see that.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to equate it because it doesn't make no sense to me. But I don't. They don't do it out in the wild. They people be okay. So aside from people being stupid, let's see what other questions I can come up with. Who would you say are some of your comedic inspirations?
When I was a kid, dating myself, my favorite comedian was Dennis Miller. I had a cassette tape that I listened to in my Walkman from one of his
Ooh.
1985 ones, and he talked about the Pope getting shot at and like big gulps, which was still a new thing. It was just one of those, and I liked it because I like comedians where if you write it, it's still funny. I prefer it. I think like if it's really a solid joke, you should be able to read it and it should come through, as opposed to other comedians where it's more in the delivery. Not that they're not fun too, but that's growing up. I liked my first like comic influence was that I watched. Yeah, it was the Dana Carvey, like Phil Hartman, Saturday Night Live years, and that. So that's kind of what I grew up on.
Nice. So Dennis Miller is one of your influences. Who else?
Uh, like George Carlin too. When I was a kid, I watched at that time in the late '80s, early '90s. They had a bunch of like they would put it on like 32 at night, and they would just have a bunch of comic book ones. So I listened to just a lot of them that now have faded away. Norm Macdonald, I remember before he was on SNL, he had a great bit about he tried to buy a pit bull, but if he bought a pit bull, the pit bull would be the most expensive thing he owned. So then he'd have to buy a timber wolf to protect his pit bull. Early Norm Macdonald, stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh man, I love this mind. I miss Norm. Um, and I thank you for mentioning that in the late 80s, early 90s, we had so much stand up on TV. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, Not only would like on a Saturday or Sunday, I can remember being in the laundromat and watching whatever was on 32 or 50. It might be like just some random stand up. It might be Star Search and
Yeah.
Paul Rodriguez might have been winning something. It might have been freaking um, Byron Allen had his talk show, comedians and like the entertainers and all that stuff where you just sit folks down, have them do the roundtable discussion and then perform. So like those kind of shows were still on. Um, and yeah, Saturday Night Live in those years was pretty hot. Phil Hartman, God rest his soul. Norm Macdonald, like I said, right before. Well, yeah, Dennis was right before Norm. Dana Carvey, Mike Myers. Uh,
Remember, time period. Remember the movie Punchline? Tom
yeah,
Hanks, Sally Field. That was
yeah,
a me too.
that was a pretty good one.
It would still be funny if you rewatch that. How many of those jokes would still hit?
I haven't watched it in so long. And then there's been so many other stand-up theme movies and shows that have come out, especially over the past 10 years. Um, do you have any favorites from the past 10 years or so?
I, as far as shows about stand up, no. Comics in the last 10 years, I really like Taylor Tomlinson quite a bit. I spend so much time watching live stand up. I when I get home and I want to watch a screen, I usually tend to want to watch something else. So I don't watch as much as I should just for research purposes, but I do like that one. I like Daniel Tosh. I like Dave Chappelle, obviously. Some of those, but I don't catch up as many as I do. I figure like I'm going to watch stand up. I'm going to go support someone I know. Go see it live because it is better. It is better live.
And thank you for that as being a comedic peer that supports other comedic peers doing that thing. It is different. It's a totally different experience, especially if you've been on all sides of it. You know the kind of organic ha 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 that really tickled my funny bone feeling you get as an audience member when you're watching a really good stand-up show. And
Yeah.
it feels good being able to support people that you know that are out here doing it and making this great scene what it is. Um, what can people expect at a big break showcase or a big break open mic?
Expect a good show. It's a good room. We usually have about six or so comics. Everyone does maybe most of the features do maybe like 8 to 10 minutes, and we've got a headliner that does like 15 or so. And then we have an open mic afterwards. Open mics are usually pretty good. Open mics usually shows usually about an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes. The open mic's usually about 2 hours, and so it's a fun night. They got reasonably priced drinks. The bartender that works there every night is fantastic. It's a good room. The Like I said, usually the angry sad guys are usually to a bare minimum. Like you gotta have at least one. It's in the union contract. What are you gonna do? But we try to get as few as possible, and so we keep it peppy. A lot of people there. It's a good spot too if you want to try it out. It's not quite as daunting as showing up for the Laugh Factory open mic with a huge room with 100 people in there and everything. So it's usually a good time.
And the bartender is Eric, right?
It's Greg.
Greg, my bad. Sorry, Greg.
No, Greg.
If I was in the room, I would see his dark red hair and his cap, and I'd remember.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would ditto everything you said. Shout out to Big Break. I've been fortunate to headline Big Break a couple times. I've done okay headlining Big Break a couple
Oh,
times. One
great.
time I did not. I thought I did really good. One time I thought I was just okay. I saved my sets. I've had fun. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me host. Thank you for letting me come through and support. Uh, my homie Just Jeff and I had appeared on there once. My best friend was back there supporting us. We love the room. It's a beautiful room. It's a great space. And just like Nick said, it's a pretty supportive mic. I haven't been around to like stay for a full mic, but most of the mics that I've been there to watch, well organized. People are pretty warm. And like he said, it's a nice place if you want to start. If your folks or friends have put you up to a little bit of a challenge, Big Breaks open mic on a Thursday night might be the room for you. Uh, at the Holiday Club, yeah.
Holiday Club, 4000 North Sheridan, Chicago, Illinois.
Pop in. And Nick, you're on a production team with a handful of very funny people. Can you go ahead and tell us a few more of those funny folks?
I Jackie Lynn is one of the co-producers. Her and I started it with a couple other producers. We had a couple people cycle out. Right now, it's me and Jackie Lynn and Kat Diaz. They both run other shows throughout the city, so you can see them all over the place. But yeah, no, it's the three of us for right now. So still going strong.
Absolutely. And let's see. I think I'm gonna go ahead and move us to my couple of favorite parts of the show here. Host feature headline. My favorite game. I'd like to know who you would pick in this lineup to
Okay.
host, feature, and headline. Here
Okay.
you go. Your lineup is George Carlin, Taylor Tomlinson, Daniel Tosh.
Uh, I think my initial one is just to say Carlin would should headline just because just to the like the stature, just the other one. But I think I'm gonna switch it up, and I think I would have Carlin headline, and then Tosh feature, and then Taylor. No, Carlin host, Tosh feature, and then Taylor headline. Just because I want to see what each of them do with it. I want to see what Carlin would do as a host, and I want to see what Tosh would do not headlining when you know someone else is coming up after him.
I think that's low key brilliant. Because Taylor can be a joke tag beast.
So,
And when she's high energy and going, she's so fun to watch. Sorry about that. But Carlin as a host to frame things, oh, I love the idea of that. And Tosh as a feature so that he can walk in space with his out there jokes. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good choice. I was trying to stump you, Nick, but I couldn't. I'm glad you thought that one out pretty well. I like what you came up with. And then finally, this last joke that I'm not joke. This last thing that I love asking everybody: who's your comedy bestie?
probably Claire Parlett,
Big Red Claire.
Big Red Claire, Big Red herself.
Shout out to Big Red Claire, Claire Parlett. Super funny lady, super sweet. Um, Tell us about Claire, Nick. Don't let me do it. You tell us about Claire.
Claire is a former producer at Big Break, so that's how we really got to know each other. So she produced Big Break for about a year and a half, and now she produces Wigs, which is at Lincoln Lodge, which is every second Tuesday, and she's co-producing the Windy City Comedy Festival, and she's just fun all of the time. She's always in a good mood, and we also are kind of foodies, so we like to go out and have fancy tasting parties. And she works at a French restaurant that's just the bomb and stuff. Yeah. So whenever I'm out, I'm like, oh my god! Like last night, I went and had sushi and I had sea urchin, and it was heavenly. And I texted Claire immediately, like at the table.
I'm gonna be coming out there to eat with y'all sometime. So
Time, yeah, it's a good time.
I'm too much of a foodie to not do it. That sounded amazing.
Yeah,
I
we
can't eat the
uh,
urchin, but I want to after hearing you say that.
we had a beef Wellington party where she had a housewarming party, and we made beef Wellington for 30 people. I didn't know it was for 30 people. When I said it, I thought it was going to be 8 people. She's like, "Yeah, I couldn't whittle down the list. So we're going to do 30." I was like, "All right, giddy up. Like, we'll do it for 30." It was delicious.
Gordon Ramsay would have had a heart attack.
It was a Gordon Ramsay recipe.
Okay, so for my birthday a couple years ago, I went to Gordon Ramsay's in Naperville, and finally, finally, after 40 something years of life,
Mm.
had this damn beef Wellington, and boy, woo, it was amazing.
It's good stuff. It's not that hard. There's a lot of steps, and so you got to do all the steps. But no single step is that hard. Like the hardest step is taking your wallet out at the butcher shop to buy the.
Facts.
Yeah.
Because how much does duchel mushrooms? I can't even pronounce duxelle, some French fancy duxelle, Frank Dukes like
Yeah.
duxelle mushrooms. They are amazing, and morels and all the blend of mushrooms. It's Nick, what shows do you got coming up, bro?
Right now, I'm doing big break. I don't have anything else on the calendar for right now. I've been, like I said, I've been in the middle of the move, so I've not been putting the effort into getting out there and getting booked as much as I should. So if anyone sees this and would like to have me on the show, I would be more than happy to. But looking for this, but yeah, just do a big break every Thursday.
And if anybody is not familiar with Nick, please go on YouTube, check him out. Do yourself a favor and look at our roast battle from December 2022. It's very funny. Nick kept me on my toes the entire battle. It was very fun prepping with him. Loved just sitting down and going through the process, and it was a lot of fun. And we hope that you guys will be able to watch that and enjoy it for years to come.
It was a quality battle. I had a lot of fun. It was close.
It was close.
Close one. It's close. Had to do.
He kept me on my toes. Destiny's Stepchild, like, you need to go watch it.
You try so hard not to break and laugh, because I get that too. Like some comics, they don't want to laugh or they don't want to give you anything. You were trying. I had you. The corner of your mouth was curling up a little bit. You almost broke a couple times, but you didn't.
I was struggling. He read me. He scalped me a little bit, but the way that I had Chris Grieco popped out, I was like, yeah, I'm proud of that one. Yeah. But it's up there. I already told y'all how amazing Joke Sister Chicago was this weekend, and I can't wait for our next installment. Thank you guys for helping me sell that one out. Tell somebody I'm funny. Fuck what you heard. Yeah. My next show coming up is this Saturday, July 5th, out here at the Bit Theater in Aurora for It Ain't My Fault comedy show with me, the good homie Just Jeff, Marnie A, the very funny Marnie Adams, and Luis Arevalo. Coming up in August for It Ain't My Fault, even though we have a first Saturday residency there at the Bit, in August, we're going to be the second Saturday. August 9th, me, Just Jeff, the dark comic genius of Ray Wisbrock. Think Anthony Jeselnik's uncle? And
that's accurate. That's an apt description.
And as I just mentioned her earlier, at Joke Sister Chicago, and she's been tearing up that Second City main stage, the one and only, the only lady that can out Deborah Wilson me, the only lady that I think should play Whitney Houston in the upcoming biopic, the one and only Arleta Hall. Arleta Hall.
Arleta Hall is I like Arleta Hall a lot.
Isn't she just a powerhouse on that stage? The lady is high energy, super funny. She got them jokes. The delivery is on point. In the moment, she's with it. Mwah! 5 stars. Come out to the show. It Ain't My Fault at the Bit Theater. Y'all, this has been another episode of your Comedy Bestie with the good homie Nick Lindemann. Nick, thank you so much for your time, man. It's been excellent catching up with you.
Thank you for having me.
I look forward to the next time we get to jam on stage.
Thank you for having me. This has been great. Thanks.
Love you guys. Be safe out there. Peace.